Hey.
All that planning for that.
I told you I couldn't think of nothing. I was gonna like beatbox so.
Yeah.
Anyway, hi. We're gonna be talking about anxiety. Is that
I'm hoping you'll get it posted relatively soon.
Yeah, I can do that if you watch the freaking kids for long enough to let me do some video editing. But that's I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys didn't need to hear that.
I guess maybe you won't see it soon.
Oh man. So yeah, this video topic comes from one of the homies that's been pretty much a part of the channel since it first started, man. He's come up with a lot of good ideas. Talk to him, play some Street Fighter together. But one of the homies was just going through some stuff with anxiety right now, right? And well, I know you probably might have had like a little bit more of a specific conversation, but it sounds like it's affecting like motivation, sleep, just like overall happiness.
One of the kids is up here. They just got home from school. But yeah, anyway, I just got a message. I haven't uploaded much on my channel for a while because honestly I forgot about it.
I forgot I do this.
And so I got the comment asking if I was okay, and yeah, I work 3 jobs and go to school, and we've got a million kids, and I forgot. So, I found TikTok, and
you did find TikTok. The worst thing that ever happened to you.
And that takes up quite a bit of my free time. So, yeah, I think about doing stuff like that, but then I wonder if my ex finds any of this stuff. I'm not trying to go to court.
Of losing custody of your kids off of some TikTok clout.
Or just in general, like I know people I have a job in which you're expected to be seen as
somewhat professional.
Yeah, professional member of society. And so they actually like look at this stuff. And I was just in a meeting where I was reminded that they look at your Facebooks and your social media and stuff, and then they're trying to impact whether or not people are getting funding for their jobs and stuff. I'm not trying to lose my job, so that kind of impacted me wanting to do stuff.
And I get it, kind of not get like on the one hand I get it because you don't want like one of your employees like on the page just like being ridiculous, just like, you know what, yeah, fuck this place, and also Hitler's great, and just like saying a bunch of just like messed up stuff. Mm-hmm. But there's like some other stuff too where I'm like, the workplace don't need to be intruded on that. Like, let that person.
But the people that are running things where we are from are into looking you up and holding it against you.
You remember that one time you said a bad word in 2011?
So I'm very careful with stuff that I try not to say, and just talking about anxiety, like always got to be making sure that like if you're out in public that your kids aren't acting out, or that you're not looking a bum, and that Calvin doesn't have holes in his pants in inappropriate spots, because he's always got holes in his clothes. And it just it gets to be a lot, and it makes it sometimes where it's just like, I don't even want to do this anymore.
I don't even want to go outside.
But yeah, anyway, in response, I typed up a rather lengthy message about it, but I thought we could, I just kind of filled him in a little, didn't let him read the message or anything because he just walked in the door. But I thought we could go over some more anxiety stuff.
Okay. So where'd you start in the letter that you sent, or the message?
Well, I talked about instead of going to a psychiatrist, going to see a just your regular doctor for medication. Because a lot of them won't give you like Xanax. Actually, if you want Xanax, the doctors are more than likely the ones that are going to give it to you over a psychiatrist from my perspective. And so go see the doctor and ask for medication. As far as side effects, something that I think we have this conversation with our clients all the time is, what's worse, the side effects or the medication? Because like with depression, it's being joked about on TikTok right now, but people are joking about how like you want to not feel bad and be depressed, but then while you're on the medication, you're not depressed, but you have no sexual like function or desires or anything like that.
Just take something else away from you.
What's worse? So just kind of weighing that back and forth. And also, as far as depression goes, there's that blood test that your doctor can do, and I'm not sure if it would work for anxiety too, that tells you what medication you should take.
Oh, like the gene site testing?
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. And also with medication too, like, not all medications thankfully have that drastic of side effects, which is nice. Like, some of them definitely do. Like, be on the lookout for what you're taking, of course, but I think we've gotten to a point in, like, the mental health community's life cycle where, like, thankfully not all medications take something vital away from you. Like, you don't always have to choose between, like, not feeling depressed or anxious or, like, being able to, like, do your work and have a sex life, you know. Like, so there are a lot of medications out there now whose side effects are, like, fairly minimal, you know.
Or they go away over time. Like, I've had clients, like, if you know anybody that's been on Vivitrol, it's for, like, opiate use. The first, like, 3 shots, and this is a once-a-month shot. They get it in their butt. It's a huge needle. It takes about a minute to administer because it's so thick. And and so the first couple months, like, some people have headaches or they can't get up, like they're just so tired and dragging, or their butt hurts for like a whole month. And then after like the 3rd shot, the headaches start to go away a little for most people.
I wish I was more mature. But
oh no, I was thinking the same stuff.
But no, you're 100% right. That the side effects aren't always as drastic as they are when you're first getting the medication, which is something really good to remember. And just like getting rid of that stigma that's related to meds, because I think at this point there's still this big push, well, nowadays especially, because there's just so many like content creators and other people that folks listen to that really don't have qualifications about this stuff, but people just saying that like, oh, medication will change you, bro, you won't be yourself, bro, you'll be a zombie, you'll never, like, it's worse than actually like dealing with like your mental health problems. Not for some people, for some mental health issues out there, like if you're talking about like severe debilitating depression, anxiety, ADHD, like some of these other illnesses, being unmedicated is going to affect your life way worse than what those medications are going to do, man. And
with as bad as the anxiety sounds like it is for some people, instead of having, like, if you go get on, like, Lexapro, that's supposed to, like, I was on Lexapro in the past, and it worked pretty good for me. I don't know if it was a placebo effect or it actually worked. But
you felt different.
I felt better. It didn't help me sleep. I had to take trazodone to help me sleep. And trazodone's also an antidepressant as well. But to help you, like, just come down right away, because some people start worrying about whether or not their medicine's working, and it's another whole anxiety level. And so having something, like, I brought up Xanax. I'm not a proponent of Xanax for, like, 99% of people. But for people that you can't wait for that 6 weeks to 8 weeks for that feeling to start to feel better, going on something like Xanax short term is, or as like a PRN, just take as needed, I think is a helpful. My best friend's been on Xanax for the past 16 years, I believe it is, after his daughter died. He's went from like tons a day down to 1 or 2 pills. And I've noticed a positive. As he's gone down, his anxiety has definitely gone down as well. He hasn't needed it as much, but it's definitely been something that was required for him.
Yeah. What was I gonna say, man? It was bouncing off of that. Yeah, I just don't want people to take that out of the running as something that can potentially help you, you know, because there's just a lot of I think just false information out there just about like how like all meds are evil and like that sort of stuff, man, and like,
or that we're pushers of meds.
Oh, 100%.
Like, because I know people aren't going to believe this, and my own kids and stuff won't believe this, but we're not big advocates for medication.
Right, I don't get a kickback when my people take meds. Like, I'm not.
But like, if you've tried everything else, I've got a client that I've had in the past after like 3 months of not doing a single thing that I've encouraged, because he's depressed. And so finally I'm just like, I think it's time for medication. And he's like, yeah, I was thinking it, but about 2 or 3 months later, he still hasn't made the call because he's too depressed to make the call. And so it's really difficult for people to do that, and it's a huge step. And something else I've been seeing on TikTok is, I have anxiety, but I've also come to realize, and the doctors told my parents this when I was little, that I have pretty severe ADHD, and the lines between the two of these
pretty blurry.
I'm not sure which is which at most times. I stay busy all the time. Like, Kelvin got me some puzzles, and I love doing the puzzles because it's got a beginning and an end to it. But then once I start doing it, I can't stop. I become hyper-focused on the puzzle, and I don't want to stop.
You do be on it, though.
This is why I don't play video games. It's because once I start, I want to play until I beat it.
I'm locked in.
Doing things like, I want to learn how to play guitar. Sounds great. But there's no beginning and end time for me. Like,
yeah.
So I bought a brand new guitar.
It's pretty nice, too.
I've played it once. And I can't do it because there's no, there is an end goal. I want to learn how to play songs, but the process in between, I don't see that progress. It's not something I can visually see, so I can't do it.
Extremely slow, right? Which can make it difficult. Oh, what I was going to say, man, was just, we were talking about the medications and, that not being, us trying to push it, right? This is just to say that, try everything that you can, meds is a piece of the puzzle. We've talked about diet and exercise being a piece. We've talked about social life being a piece of it. Figuring out some sense of purpose or a hobby being a piece of it. I think that all these different things have their place in making you feel better. And just if you've tried a lot of different stuff and it doesn't seem you don't seem to be feeling the way that you want to, no shame in trying something else,
And I was going back, I'm not totally just shoving off everything he just said, because I was thinking of what I wanted to say while he was talking, showing I wasn't really listening.
Don't listen. That's not a good listening skill, people.
So I was thinking about how with the whole ADHD thing, that was kind of an example of it, actually.
That's ironic.
But I've been watching these videos because I work with drug addicts. Everybody wants ADHD medication that I work with.
Hot demand.
And so even if it's Butyrin or Strattera, they're all I'll take that. It's you're not going to get high. Well, I've looked it up and I know how. Oh, cool. Well, I've watched these videos of these people talking about how they've started ADHD meds and their head is quiet. And I'm what's that feel like? What's that sound like? Because I've got some things. Calvin told me that I need to go to a specialist for
you need help.
OCD, because when I get something in my head, I can't stop. And I just think about it all the time. I have nightmares about this kind of stuff.
It's debilitating. It's not even just thinking about it. It stops you from being able to function at times, which is the definition of clinically significant. As you know from our DSM study. If it's stopping you from being able to do other stuff.
Which, in that comment that I got, it sounds like it is stopping you from doing stuff. And that's why I brought up the ADHD stuff, because you're thinking about everything so much that when you get up in the morning, you already feel like crap.
What does that Michael Jordan mean? Stop it. Get some help. That's how he looks. You see that one?
No, I haven't. I don't know what you're talking about.
He looks at the screen. But no, for real, though. It's there's zero shame in it. I'm all about people doing what they need to do to feel better for themselves, whether you have these dude bro content creators on YouTube telling you it's a good thing or not. Well,
I also think listening to a bunch of people is gonna not help, because half the people that you probably meet are on some kind of psych med. I was reading. I read too. I was reading this stuff and it was talking about how many therapists are actually on psych meds. And I'm on this site for therapists, and I'm reading people's posts, and a lot of them are on their own kind of medication.
And this person needs help.
So a lot of the helpers are also needing assistance.
The helpers need help themselves, right? Yeah. So, oh crap, that was my knee. I wonder if you could hear it in the recording. They heard you say, "Oh crap." Yeah, they heard the "oh crap" part. But definitely, anxiety, just like any mental health illness that we're probably going to bring up on anything we talk about, there's no one step fix or one guaranteed fix, which is what I don't like to see people selling. Like, because a lot of people make videos and stuff for like products where they're like, guaranteed to stop your depression, guaranteed to stop anxiety 75%, like whatever that means. But if you've ever had any sort of experience or worked in mental health, you know that what works for everybody's different. You know, like there isn't like my thing that helps me get out of my head may not do the same thing for you. You know, it may not be like what works for you. That's why I really advocate people like trying out a bunch of different stuff and not just listening to like what one or a couple people that may be kind of popular have to say about it, you know?
And, like, there's all these things where people are... If you go to the Walmart, there will be a section in, like, the vitamins section that it says, like, will reduce anxiety and stuff. Look up that stuff. Some of that stuff's not good for you. And when you do get on real psych meds, they're not meant to be mixed well. I think we had somebody... Was it St. John's wort? And he was taking that, and it was really effing with him. I think he ended up hospitalized with that. There's now like those CBD shops all around, and I've outreached to a doctor about this because it's like maybe I'll try this because I'm not cool with smoking weed or any of that stuff for me. Or Calvin.
Or me.
Like he's not cool with it either. I'm probably starting to open up to it a little bit more. Not smoking weed. I'm not going to do that. But like the CBD thing.
The CBD aspect.
So
I got you.
I asked the doctor, and because I'm like, what else can I do? And he's just like, there's no real evidence to show long term. It might help you for a couple minutes or like when it's first in your system, but outside of that, it's really not going to do too much. Whereas if you go to the CBD store, which I have, there's one near our not near our house, but near everything else easily, where we go to, and if you ask that lady, it helps with everything. And so it's so tempting. It's so expensive, but it's so tempting to try it. And I have some CBD oil for pain, but I'm too chicken. My anxiety makes it so that I can't take it.
Right. I get you. And, like, I'm not going to knock it because I don't know, like, every substance and every practice out there that'll help or won't help, you know. But what I do know from our work is that a lot of people that come to us asking about medical marijuana and CBD stuff have confirmation bias, where, like, they're coming in and they already want to do this. So they're just looking for somebody to tell them that it's okay or that they have permission. And they're not so much looking for, like, the evidence-based aspect of it, you know, like they're just literally like, my doc said it's okay, so let me light up this joint at 9 a.m. because my doctor said I can't now, you know.
And also sometimes, like, what I posted in my response was like, I noticed that my symptoms get worse right about now because it's starting to get fall, and I look outside, and every time I look outside, I literally say,
that seasonal affective.
Fuck. And he will attest to that because I'm seeing those trees and I'm just like,
the leaves changing color.
I hate it. And everybody else is posting these pictures on Facebook.
Pumpkin spice and just all the good stuff, and you're like, I want to die.
And my birthday is in October.
I know, it's supposed to be a good week for you. Good month, excuse me. October's supposed to be lit.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. Like, I hate it. It makes me feel worse. I hate the snow. I hate the cold weather. I hate the wind. Like this wind when it starts getting fall. I hate it all.
Yeah.
And so it starts making me feel worse. And all I think about is this many more days till summer.
Well, that goes back to us talking earlier, right? About everybody having like different approaches and stuff that's going to work or won't work for them. Because like that's a very individualized thing, you know, like the seasons and just like spring and fall versus how like winter and all that other sort of stuff affects you is going to be very different from somebody else. But like to me, that just shows how like individualized like mental health treatment stuff is. Like you're going to have to like figure out what works for you specifically, and that's goes back to like trying a whole bunch of different stuff, you know. Like it's difficult, to be honest. It's not an easy thing to like get your head in order and to get this stuff under control, and I won't ever downplay it, but it's worth it, you know. It
definitely is. And I'm gonna say that one of my biggest things that helps me is, and I kind of alluded to this in my comment, is Kelvin. Like he's sometimes I do go above and beyond, and I do get a reaction out of him. But usually, like, if I'm really upset about something and my anxiety is just, like, to the point where I'm not functioning, then he's just like, what do you want to do? But the tone of his voice is kind of an asshole voice.
It can get that.
What do you want me to do? Like, he's just done with it.
So sick.
And sometimes I don't know, though, too. Like, I don't know what I want you to do.
The extent of it, or just, 100%.
But being able to just talk and talk and talk about it, and... Like, we talk about my best friend, he doesn't listen to a single thing I say. So, like, if I'm feeling anxious about something and I'm talking to him, he's not listening anyways. So I just get to talk on, and then we talk about something else. So, like, it's kind of like a good thought stopping, because I'll be like, oh my god, this and this and this and this and this happened. And then he's like, hey, did I tell you what happened to me? And
what's that one guy's name that was a dick to me a couple years ago? Like, damn it, dude. Like,
I was able to talk about it for 10 minutes before he wasn't listening, but I got to talk it out.
Like, I still got it out. No, the social stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Is actually, I think it's pretty important, because I think that I'm relatively okay with being alone more than most people. I think that I got that going for me, where like I can be by myself for long periods of time and be completely content. But I still need people, like I think that it's still good for me to have a wife, have family, have like other people checking in and that care about me, because it really is fulfilling. And like, I think we just need it, like no matter how much like people might say they're a loner or they don't care about other people's opinion or they don't need anybody, we need someone, like most people I know that are truly completely isolated are not doing well. It's not good for our mental health. So,
well, I also talked about in my message about getting going to your regular doctor, because I've got medical issues and I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But I have read up on all these things that I could have, and they all say a side effect of the symptom is anxiety. And I'm like, that makes sense.
Shit.
But the doctors don't listen. And that's the biggest thing, is I've had to advocate for myself. Like, my feet hurt all the time. So I told my doctor for the past, 12 years, and they're just like, oh, you're just fat. I wasn't that fat before. And, oh, it's your thyroid. My thyroid shows it's fine every single time. They've done ultrasounds. They've done blood work. They've done everything we can to test it. So then I made an appointment with my podiatrist, and he gave me $125 foot things for my shoes, soles or whatever. Yeah. And I hate wearing shoes, so I've just been living with the foot pain a little bit. And then I made an appointment with a rheumatologist to figure out the other stuff, and I'm doing it on my own.
Personal advocacy.
They're not doing it for me.
Yeah, no, that's a big part of this too, right? Is being able to see the value in yourself, I guess, because some of this stuff, like, you likely will have to fight for. Like, a big thing I think about is people doing talk therapy, right? And how all counselors are not created equal. Like, some people will very much not have a good experience, like, their first time in counseling, and the
average is 6. You have to do counseling 6 times before you find a therapist that works with you.
And, like, for people, like, that may put them off, but I don't think it should. I think it speaks to the fact that one go of it isn't enough, because I think that a lot of times we're more likely to give up too soon than, like, too late, if that makes any sense. Like, I think it can be really easy for us to give some of this stuff, like, a try a couple times, and then, like, not have a connection or not feel like we're making progress, and then end up just thinking that, like, it doesn't work, period. And
just in general, like, if it's one of those things where you don't...
Are you standing up?
I'm closer to the mic if I'm standing than you anyway.
All right, I'll trade you for a second. We're bootleg. I only got one chair in here right now, guys.
But it's interesting too, because like a lot of times what I also posted about was we don't see the progress that we've made. So if you don't have somebody pointing it out to you that you're making progress, you're probably not going to notice it as much.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like the guitar. Like,
slow.
It's slow.
It's
and
real slow.
When you have positive accomplishments, we're not learning how to walk anymore. Somebody's not standing there cheering for you.
In the back. Mm-hmm.
So, and the people that are cheering for those people on Facebook, it's usually fake. And the people that are posting about it's fake too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, both sides, right? Yeah. speak to the people about social media and just not taking that too seriously, because we won't go into a whole thing because we all heard that stuff before, and like I'm sure we could do a whole video on that stuff.
I think we have,
but like it's just not real, you know, like it's not the real world, and like it's easy for our brains to mistake it as such, but it doesn't do you any favors.
So that's where I went into. I was actually just looking. I have in front of me, Kelvin just came up here. I've been working in his office because my bird decided to scream every time I'm in any kind of work meeting. Not professional. So I've got like 3 notebooks in front of me, and one of them is like my money notebook. I keep my money stuff in there and my goals with my money and how much I'm going to spend this week and how much I'm going to spend next week. And I overanalyze it, and he gets like 500 text messages a week just about like, this is how much money I have, and then I don't have any money. And then I'm like, you want to go shopping? And he's like, I thought you didn't have any money. Yeah, well, I'll figure it out.
I got it.
And so like, and that's that dopamine hitting me though too. Like I like that. So
like that.
Then I have my notebook that I carry with me for work because I want to write down everything so that if anybody ever comes back and says, I didn't know that, you were at this meeting on this date at this time and this is what we went over. So that helps me because when you've got anxiety, you're not able to remember things as well as other people. So I've noticed when I'm more stressed, my memory's not as good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I write everything down. And then I have a planner. And so in my planner, I write down everything that I need to do for the whole week. And I also have goals written down in 2 or 3 of my notebooks. And then I also have another notebook. But I'm going to get another notebook. So I always have a bunch of stuff written down. And it just helps me feel like I have some control.
Yeah.
Even if I don't. But like I've got written down there stuff that I probably won't do for a year. But I'll keep copying it and putting it onto my next week. But something about me is I don't feel like I'm not accomplished if something rolls over. So I can still feel, because I still marked some stuff off.
I got you. Well, what was I going to say, man? I keep having these brain fogs.
I guess he's stressing he needs to get a notebook.
No, it goes right back to that, right? Where, how like the strategies, man, like there are different things that are worth, like, because people talk about like when you go to counseling, there's like you get all these strategies and like coping skills and other stuff thrown at you, right? We're like, well, like try a journal, or like how about you try this planner, and people think it sounds whack up front, right? Like you try to tell people about like some of these things, but like I'm here to tell you that like the stuff that you might write off is just like crappy counselor therapist talk is like legitimately real, and like there's reasons behind like people trying to tell you some of these strategies too, right?
It works.
Like see like the journaling piece, right? We were talking about how socially is having a social life or social interaction is healthy for us, because then we have an outlet for all like those internalized emotions and stuff, right? Well, journal is that, but in like written form, you know, like people writing stuff like to get junk out of their head or stuff that they haven't been able to or can't say to people. You write, and that's a way to be able to express yourself and get that crap that you're thinking out, so it's not bugging you as much, you know?
What I found is also helpful to me is, instead of, because I don't like to sit and write, right? I like to email, so I will email myself. And I'll just put like, that's how I keep like up to date with my ex-husband when he's being stupid. I'll email myself, his name's the subject, and then I'll just type up my whole little rant, and that way there too, when it's time to go to court, it's timestamped too.
Like I got the exact, no, like that's on multiple purposes. Right there. But it's really true, man. Like these things for like little like hacks for like your memory or stuff to do for like these the outlets to get stuff off your chest. Like all of it really does have a purpose, but it goes right back to this being like an individual fight, right? Like the stuff that somebody else might have said to you before, it may not apply, but some of these other strategies might, you know, like don't write it all off as like bullcrap, you know. And like this isn't directed towards the homie, because like I think he's actually pretty open-minded, but this is just like general like advice, because I know that I've been there before.
Yeah, we're not speaking exactly directly to anybody in particular.
Yeah, this is just like overall like just stuff we got that we've seen, like had to argue with people about when it comes to like giving things a shot or like trying new stuff, is that like a lot of people just, they prematurely quit, or like they don't even give it a chance, and then it really doesn't have the opportunity to work because they didn't try it, you know.
Something that I learned in a training was Anthony Hopkins, the guy from Silence of the Lambs.
I wasn't gonna save you either. I was gonna let you sit there as long as you needed.
I was thinking of a different movie too. He was in a really good movie with Brad Pitt that I loved. And he was like the devil. But I was in a training. I believe it was him. He hears voices, and he does what we call thought stopping. So he gives us voices, like if they start getting like all blah 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 while he's trying to do something, he'll be like, I'm scheduling with you from 6 to 7 tonight, and I will talk to you then. And outside of that, like, to me that was like, ooh, like I wish I could have that kind of self-control. But I think that for the most part, like, one of the reasons I stay so busy is that way I don't have those thoughts coming in, and I just keep myself so busy that other people are like, why would you do that? Well, what's one more thing? And then
and then I roast you for that too, because I'm like, don't run from your thoughts, because I feel like there can be, and I think there's a happy medium, right? Because there's some people that ain't got shit going on. They got just like nothing on their schedule. That's bad for your brain. And then you got some people that have everything going on their schedule. That's bad for your brain too, because you're running from stuff. Like, some people have a way of being busy just because they're like, oh yeah, you should probably have the conversation with your daughter. Yeah, I can't. I got 8 meetings. Sorry, I can't do it. And like, there's somewhere in the middle, right? Where like, you want to be adequately busy where you have like worthwhile things to like occupy your day, but not to the extent where you can't have some sort of like mindfulness about like what's going on in your life. Like, you want to be able to sit there and really, like, I think it helps to have a personal inventory of just like what's going on with yourself, and being like having a internal check-in, right? Like, am I good? Like,
and I do that, like, I think that I do that in the shower.
Okay.
That's my thing. I've always loved the shower. The shower is, like, if I'm really, really not doing well, I'll just be like, I don't need a shower today. And he's just like, you go get in the shower.
For multiple reasons.
But, like, showering time is my time when I feel like I can just kind of decompress, and, like, those jokes and memes and stuff about, like, crying in the shower, like, we actually tell people to schedule time to cry, and I usually tell people to do it in the shower. Nobody can hear you, and like, the steam kind of just like washes it, and the water washes it all away. Yeah. So,
ain't nothing wrong with a good cry. I'm for it.
When was the last time you cried?
I'm telling you that. I'm telling you the last time I cried. I'm for it though. Ain't no shame in it. I ain't talking about why.
Years ago, when he was in his accident, and
like when I watched Squid Game 1 week was. Don't laugh at me. It was emotional, but
I've never seen it.
But no, like, in all seriousness, man, like, I'm not about toxic masculinity and like people.
Obviously,
people,
look at his videos.
You say I'm so testosterone, you guys.
He's sitting here in a pink shirt.
It's super pink too. That's. But no, man, like, you should be able to, like, men, women, all that stuff. Like, sometimes you got some crap to get out, and there's some stuff that goes on in your life that's worth crying about. Like, sometimes crap is like not in a great place. Like, sometimes you are overwhelmed. Do what you need to do. Like, don't be sitting there just like, no, man, real brothers can't show this. I'm just like,
not gonna lie too, something that helps me, not to cut him off, but I was again thinking about me.
You did, but
I reward myself all day long.
Treat yourself.
So this has resulted in a lot of weight gain. But
acting like you're 500 pounds. Like, barely fit in the room,
you told me to stop weighing myself. Yeah. But I found that if I do this little thing, then I get, like, to go have a snack, or I get to color a picture on my phone, or I get to look at Facebook. The problem that I find then is that once I start doing that, then I'm almost like rewarding my little bit of things with my Facebook, because then my stuff that I gotta do is not getting done. So you gotta find that balance there and just kind of go with it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too. Like, rewarding yourself throughout the day and not fighting against yourself. I think there's a lot to be said for that.
And I think also give yourself credit and stop putting so much high expectations on ourselves. Like, I keep seeing these videos about, like, our parents didn't let us miss school ever, no mental health days, no, like, why didn't you get straight A's? And then it's just, like, everything has to be perfect now. Like, the one day I thought I was getting fired because I messed everything up all day long. But I'm also brand new, and I've never used any of this stuff. And I was just, like, down. But in the grand scheme of things, like, they're not going to find anybody else.
Legitimately not.
Like,
no, really not.
It's really hard to find therapists and stuff right now. So, it's just kind of putting it into perspective and giving yourself a break. Everybody messes up. Not everybody tells their boss, hey, you messed up, when in fact, I'm the one that messed up.
Different levels, right?
So give yourself a break and just kind of not put other people down, but you don't have to be on top of it all the time.
Yeah,
and also to go to sleep, melatonin works pretty well.
Melatonin, and just getting sleep, right? Sleep itself is extremely important, like way more than we probably give it credit for, type deal. Like, looking it up, I didn't realize just how much like sleep like really does regulate us, but like regulator.
I was gonna do that.
but legitimately, it like not getting the proper sleep or getting like enough adequate sleep, that shit'll change your life. So something to that too.
I also think having a crappy job makes your anxiety levels go up.
Yeah, and to stress and yep, sure will.
So there's plenty out there right now to choose from.
Yeah, look, right. Yeah, it's super true.
With more money.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. That's it, right? Taking inventory of your life as a whole, right? Because I think you're right. Sometimes it's easy to get like pigeonholed on one thing. Like, this is the reason I'm anxious or depressed. But like, you got to kind of look at like all aspects of your life in a lot of ways too, right? Like, how do I feel about my job? Am I happy with my partner or unhappy with my lack of having no partner? Am I physically okay? Like, there's a lot of stuff like when it comes to looking at different areas of our life, and like if any of them are like real bad, it's gonna have an effect on you, right? On like depression and anxiety wise.
I had one lady who had debilitating migraines, and it created anxiety, like clinical anxiety and depression in her, because she couldn't plan anything, because she never knew if she was gonna wake up and have to stay in her bedroom all day. So like, I have a lot of pain in my body all the time, and I joke about it because I've just lived with it since I was little. And nobody will ever, the doctors won't do anything about it. And so it's just kind of like, that's kind of how I deal with it, is I joke about it.
Yeah, like that's the coping mechanism. But even though I've been telling you to get over to a doctor, and you've been making more doctor's appointments, which is good. But
Unlike you.
I'm working on it.
But also, like,
on it.
This is something that is totally personalized for me. And I mean, Kelvin kind of laughs at me about it, and nobody knows the extent, but like, I play songs in my head all day long. And that's the only thing that can kind of help funnel and take my thoughts and kind of slow them down, but also it helps me to kind of narrate my day. Like, if something's going wrong, I've got little things that I'll sing in my head. Or like, if somebody says like that whole regulators thing, like that was already in my head before he said it. And I do that so much that I'm lucky that I'm able to function with so many different things going on, because otherwise I would constantly be getting in trouble. Most of it's inappropriate.
This is the way I live.
I do that one right now, yeah.
Absolutely. No, I hear that too. You got like a little soundtrack to your life and stuff. Little crap pops up. Oh man.
Constant.
And it goes back to how weird all of us are individually. You know, like there is going to be no one that can like speak to your exact experience, and like that's not a bad thing, man. Like that's not to say people out there don't understand you, because people definitely do. Like, talking to the right professional or having the right people in your life, even if they don't like exactly get it, just having the right people around you that are supportive is gonna like work wonders and everything.
Something else to think about too. I know that we probably should wrap it up, but
wrap it up.
That wasn't a real song. I was thinking more, I thought you'd make like a condom joke.
I was kind of, that was this Dave Chappelle skit. You won't understand.
No, I don't watch Dave Chappelle. But keeping like a gratitude journal, and I know it sounds stupid. It sounds really lame. You can buy them.
Yeah.
But
it's real, though. It really is real.
It's so easy to not see any of the positive things or, like, all the stuff that you have accomplished today. Like, I don't have the self-discipline to do it, but we've, like, done it a couple times with our kids. Like, what's 3 positive things that happened to you today, or 3 things that you did? And they could have went to Disney World, and they're like, I don't know.
It was kind of boring today, to be honest.
We didn't do anything.
Like, what?
We didn't do anything. Like, we went blah, 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 and we went blah. Like, we really did take them to Disney World once, and they were complaining about it before we even got 50 feet away from the car. It was not too hot. It was only 110 degrees.
Man, I wouldn't even let that come out of my mouth.
I like that. So,
like that shit?
But just keeping, like, a journal of the different things, because then, like, when you're having a really sucky day, you can see that it's just today, and yesterday wasn't so bad, and you still, even if things do suck today, there's still something positive that probably happened.
Well, that's a legitimate spiritual practice, right? There's a lot of different just cultures and, like, religions and other stuff that, like, legitimately that's part of what they teach their people to do is, like, hey, like, take stock every day and just realize that things, even if they didn't go exactly how you wanted them to, there's still plenty out there to be appreciative of. That's a legitimate, like, thing in a whole lot of different cultures, and that's exactly why, because they realize that having appreciation and being able to be thankful for stuff, even if, like, crap isn't going exactly your way, helps create healthy human beings.
Because it might not have been, like, you might have been shooting for 100, and if it was at least 80 or 60, you got part of the way done. I think that that's still pretty significant progress, and you still got something to be thankful for. And one of the things that, like, I've been, like, I know that the internet, I'm completely cool with, like, the FBI tapping my phone. I'm cool with them like, hey, you might like this. Yeah, I might like that. Like that, thanks.
Right?
I did like that. Sometimes that causes me more anxiety because I keep reading about all these bad things that are happening. Kelvin doesn't get the same articles. He gets articles about video games and stuff. And I get all these effed up things. And, but just kind of like those TikTok videos, all mine, my first whole day, like, I don't even know if I have a profile or anything. I've just been watching, yeah, I do, because I posted one little video of our kids singing. All my videos were about baby daddies and narcissists and how, like, it was a scene from The Office, I guess, I've never seen it, like, basically saying, like, I want you to kill him. And God's like, I can't do that. and I'm just like, I say that every day. Like, and it just kind of, like, reaffirms that I'm not alone, that there are thousands of people going through the same kind of stuff that I am. And kind of, like, how they've worked to get through it. And sometimes, like, just the stuff's funny, too.
There's some funny stuff, I'll give you that. It can be pretty hilarious. There's some stuff on social media that's toxic, but I've cracked up at some stuff on some of those, too. So, I ain't above it. I just think it's good to be mindful.
It is. And not put too much thought into it, because people can say whatever they want to. Like, a lot of times I'll be like, well, wow, they handled that really well. And then I'm like, they could be lying.
But they also could be full of shit right now. It's super true. So, on that note, we'll get ready to go, man. I think that was a pretty worthwhile video. What do you think?
We were supposed to do another one, but you haven't brought me the topic yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, we'll get there then. We'll figure out another one then. So, until next time, I'm going to try to get this out in not a month. I'll try to work to get this out in this week, actually, and get this up. And we'll talk to you guys later, man. Bye. Goodbye. Say bye.
Bye.